Good morning, everybody. Welcome back again. Keith Engle here for the TGI Sports Talk Sunday stream of consciousness. It's great to have you all with me today. It's Nick's first championship in 53 years. Thank you so much. I'll be 119 when the next one happens. So God willing, I'll be here. I want to welcome everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you might be watching us this morning, or if you're watching it, not watching us live, if you're watching us on replay on one of the groups, we certainly thank you and welcome you in. You can certainly comment, please like and share the shows. You see some of our favorite groups always scrolling at the bottom of the screen. John Gonzalez from the Sports Authorities, America's Pastime, Greg Rawlings, Bottom Line Sports with Flo and Can, great podcast they do. I try to share it whenever I'm paying attention to Flo's messages. Let's Talk Sports, Ken Krause over at Golf Bud Sports of All Sorts, and a quick shout out to Ralph Williams at RW Media. Ralph does some great stuff out of Ocean City, Maryland. Pittsburgh-focused national footprint, specifically to Sports Corner with Smoking Jim Frazier from 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern every Tuesday. Guys, lots to talk about today, right? Oh, my God. Good morning again, Danny. Good to have you with us. Those of you who are with us on the Sunday Morning Roundtable show on the McGrath Podcast Network, some of this stuff will be redundant, but we'll have new viewers for this show, hopefully, and we'll continue to talk about the Knicks' great win. Brunson, just amazing last night. This team, I'm going to tell you, one of the most dominating runs through the playoffs in history. Again, you can tell me about the teams they played and whatever. I'm sorry, 9 straight road wins. Coming from behind double digits in every one of these games against the Spurs. And the Spurs had some problems, but just a great run. So we'll talk about that and more in the NBA. NHL Game 6 is tonight with the Canes up 3-2. We can talk about that. Major League Baseball, we had 2 no-hitters, actually complete games. Yamamoto, I think, completed that game. He went into the 9th anyway. Maybe they took him out. Danny, you can help me out with that, or I'll look at the box score. Now that I think about it, I was looking at the box score quick, and I think they might have pulled him. But he threw 106 pitches, so at least I let him go into the 9th and try to get it. Mizorowski had 15 strikeouts and a 1-hitter. Also threw a pitch 104 miles an hour to break his own record from last week. We can talk about that. Skubal back, big injuries in Atlanta and Acuna, big surprise there, and Strider. Yankees fighting off injuries as well. We can talk anything in the Major League Baseball or anywhere you want. What else? NFL, Aldon Smith sadly passed away at 36 years old yesterday. Tortured young man, it appears. Had great talent with the 49ers and just could not get over his off-the-field demons. And we don't know exactly what happened, but we'll find out here in the days to come. And our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends. Stephon Diggs has been cleared by the NFL. And we'll see where he lands next. Todd Bowles backs Baker Mayfield as his long-term quarterback, as his contract, his 3-year, $100 million contract, I think, is about to expire, and he's negotiating with the Bucks. The World Cup, the USA breezes to a 4-1 win. I mean, again, I'm not a big soccer fan, but I am a USA fan. They'll get Australia on the 19th. Why are there so many days between games here? I don't get it. We can take a look at the College World Series if you like. I know there were some great games on Friday, but we can take a look at that if we get a chance. But it's your show, and I want you guys to feel free to run away with it. Good morning, Rick. Good to have you again with us. He did come out after the home run. Okay, thank you. I looked at the box score quickly, and then I couldn't remember whether he finished the game or not. And I'm okay with that, right? If they pulled him after the 8th inning with, I don't know, let's say 98 pitches, whatever it might have been. I think it was a leadoff guy that hit the home run, right? So he probably had 100-ish going into the 9th. God bless Dave Roberts. Give the guy a chance. We cheat guys out of the chance to make history too often because of the way we handle pitchers today. And Yamamoto gets a chance. Mizorowski didn't take his no-hitter into the late innings, but still pitched a complete game shutout, 15 strikeouts. This kid is there's some great young pitchers in baseball. When you look at Mizorowski, you look at Keem Schluter, Nolan McLean, who's having a little bit of a rough time with the Mets. I'm leaving some guys out, obviously. Skubal. There's some really good pitchers. Otani, obviously. Yamamoto, obviously. Just some good pitchers in baseball right now. Had a perfect game. Yeah, I know. He did have a perfect game until the 8th. You know, and even that wouldn't keep some guys in the game, Danny. That's the sad part about this, right? So, I don't know. But great job by Dave Roberts. Great pitching by two terrific young pitchers, by the way. Got a cat problem here. Good morning, Matt. Good to have you with us. Let's see. Let me pick a card out. So Matt sends me cards all the time. I'm going to give you a card of the day today. I can't do that. He was the one last week. I just pulled Jerry Kenny. Goose. How about Goose today? Look at that picture of Goose, no mustache. That's got to be when Goose first got to the Yankees in 1978, I'm going to say, because the later Goose, we did not look like that. Or today's Goose doesn't look like that. What else did we want to talk about today? Lots of stuff, man. Like the Knicks. Listen. Let me get this comment here from Chris F. Grave. How are you, my friend? Our Canadian correspondent. Happy 69th birthday to former Dodgers standout Greg Brock. Greg was a late bloomer at 26, fit right in the 80s. Where'd he go? He did play with Sachs and Pedro Guerrero. Did he play with Mike Marshall and that crew? Greg Brock, I got to believe, because there was always some big home run numbers. Albuquerque, Danny, you can help me out. Maybe Chris can, I don't know. I'm sure Danny knows. AAA for the Dodgers at that point in time was Albuquerque, right? And I think that was kind of a home run haven, if I remember my minor league baseball right. I have to tell you guys, I don't know what made me do this, but when I was a kid, here's the stream of consciousness part of the show, I guess. When I was a kid, my mom and dad split up when I was young, 7. Every Sunday when my dad would pick us up, he'd bring me the sporting news. And I read the sports. So I'm just a sports nut. I love the sporting news. And it always brings me back fond memories. Baseball Digest, too, was another one. And I think I've told the story how years ago in a garage sale, I found an entire box, a huge box full of old Baseball Digest that I bought for like $5. Reread all of them. Well, I went to the sportingnews.com because it's not in print anymore, but they have an archive of every single issue, I think, ever put out. And you can go and read it as you would have read the paper. It was so cool. Yesterday, I don't know, I must have spent a couple hours just going through some stuff from the 70s in the sporting news and reading some of the articles. And it was really pretty cool. But anyway, I digress. We got to get to the Knicks, man. Chris from Cambridge is the man. Old man Goldie, 380. He's hit. He has been on fire since who got hurt? When Stanton went out, Goldie started playing a lot more. First base, DH, and he's been hitting. He's still rough against righties. You watch him; the bat speed is just sometimes sad to watch, but he's hitting about 380 since then. With 8 home runs and a bunch of RBIs, he's played really, really good. Don't know that he can keep this up for an entire season, but he's helped keep the Yankees afloat during Judge's injury. Now Grissom's out. We'll see what happens. They're going to need Dominguez, who they reactivated yesterday, and Spencer Jones to play major roles on his team for the foreseeable future. And we need these kids to step up. And Goldschmidt's got to keep it up as well. Yankees aren't the only team battling injury, though. I mean, the Braves have lost Acuna this week. They lost Strider yesterday to a inflamed elbow. That's not good news. He had Tommy John surgery, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago. He had the ulnar nerve operation, I think, in 22, which he missed, I think, most of last year, too. So injuries everywhere, man. Jose Ramirez goes out yesterday for the team formerly known as the Indians. Albuquerque was home run row. Sporting News was a great read, right? I check it out. I did check it out online for a while, a couple of years back, and it's not the same. But the fact that they basically have microfiche or whatever you want to call it, I guess it's not microfiche today. Just aged myself there, didn't I? However, they've done it and uploaded these old issues online because it's just like reading the paper. It's laid out exactly. It's pictures of the paper. And it's really kind of cool. Not the paper. Well, I guess it was a paper, right? It was paper size, wasn't it? Love the Sporting News. Anyway, I'm off topic here. The Knicks. Knicks. This is a great team. Are they Blaker and Celtics in the 80s good? No. But relative to the competition they're playing against today, this is a great basketball team. I can't buy into the narrative that, the Spurs are, more talented than the Knicks. I'm not sure the Thunder are. Maybe full strength, the Thunder's better, man for man. Man for man, you take out Wemby, and I know Harper's going to be good. Castle's going to be good. Man for man, the Knicks are better. And the Knicks, I don't want to say they wanted it more because San Antonio wanted it, but they couldn't do it. I mean, after they blew a 29-point lead the other night, I got to believe as soon as that lead started to dwindle last night, they had that in their head. Here we go again. They're young. The coach is young. Mistakes were made. But this Knicks team is as resilient as any team I've ever seen. I'm going to go out on a limb. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that no team has ever overcome double-digit deficits 5 consecutive games to win the NBA championship. Oh, they didn't overcome it in one game. Sorry. They did come back and make it a game, but they didn't win it. So anyway. So I guess you could say in 4 consecutive games. That's probably true too. Chris says 1996 Baseball Digest printed an article titled "What's with all the home runs?" Inclusion of writer attributed to baseball stadiums now being built smaller. Lots of things there, Chris, right? At that time, stadiums were smaller, the balls were harder, the bats were harder, and we started into an era that we would probably rather forget as far as drugs. Alan, check out Alan's stuff, by the way, too. On Alan, where are you broadcasting from? I found out from Nick Bogdan that who does a great show as well. Alan does some great stuff. That Let's Talk Sports really is no more. So, are you just kind of freelancing, or where are you? Who are you affiliated with now? But check out Alan's stuff if you haven't seen Alan. Alan does some great stuff, and thank you. And your team will be back next year, by the way. And it was one of the more impressive playoff runs of all time. 16-3, 9 straight road wins. And before this series, those wins were like averaging 16 or 17-point wins. Unfortunately, didn't watch the finals. Matt, well, you're not a Knicks fan. And I know Danny talked about before, and we'll get to Danny, and Danny is here, so he can certainly chime in. I know Danny thought it was a difficult watch to watch these NBA playoffs. I thought these, and again, I got a rooting interest. Danny had no rooting interest. I'm sure if Danny had a rooting interest, he'd probably look at it a little bit differently. The NBA can be a hard watch. But when you see the Knicks play at their best, and by the way, they were not at their best last night. They weren't at their best a lot of this series. Coming back from 29 points down, they were at their best. But they move the ball. There's a lot of movement. You watch Mikal Bridges. Plays a lot like Bill Bradley. The game's different. There's ball movement, and the ball movement is looking for, and we talk about this a lot, is looking for an open three-pointer and not, a 12-footer. But the Knicks go to the basket a lot. The Knicks move the ball a lot. Now, I'll tell you this much, too, when I talk about ball movement. If the Knicks had lost that game last night, I think a lot of talk would have been about the fact that the ball stopped moving. They moved the ball coming back from 29 down. They weren't just throwing up three-pointers. If you noticed, there weren't like just a deluge of three-pointers and coming back from that 29-point deficit, which a lot of teams would have tried to do. But they turned the Spurs over. They kept them to one shot, no offensive rebounds, and they played some fast break basketball, went to the basket. You saw some big drives in that game. And last night they kind of reverted to give the ball. And again, it worked out because he had a great, great, great game. Jalen Brunson was tremendous. He's the only guy ever to score 40 points in a championship clinching game. Didn't Magic have 40? What Magic have? Must have been 30, high 30s. But they reverted to this Brunson dribbling all over the place and setting up a shot. Now, in fairness, he was hot and the rest of the team was not. But for the most part, they moved the basketball pretty well. Golden State from a few years ago, when they were on their good run, so it's more than a few years ago now. It's probably 10 years ago. They moved the basketball well. A lot of ball movement, but not to get layups and 12-foot jump shots. It's to get an open look at a three-pointer. That's the way the game is today. But I think you see a lot of really good ball movement most of the time. And I thought the Spurs would do it and then get away from it and throw up a bunch of three-pointers. No, I didn't. I didn't say they wanted it more with. Oh, you said you're with me. And it's easy to say they wanted it more. Everybody wants to win. Nobody wants to lose. Right? Knicks were smarter and more resilient. 53 years. I can't wait 50. James Dolan, you can't wait 53 more years, and I certainly can't wait 53 more years. Knicks and Spurs final. Is this a further indication that dynasty teams are put in the NBA? Probably. This is a 8th straight new champion. No repeat champion. Am I right there? In that 8th straight, right? Individual championships. Nobody's not repeated back to back, but nobody's also repeated in that 8 years. I think it's indicative of parity in the league, quite frankly, which I'm not necessarily a big fan of parity. I'm okay when some teams are great and some teams are really bad. Well, there are some really bad teams in the NBA, which hopefully the new lottery rules will help alleviate some of the tanking that goes on. But this Knicks team is likely to run this back pretty much as is, maybe in addition to the bench, small additions, but there's no reason to blow this chemistry up. Spurs, on the other hand, need to make some major moves. This team's young, and I'm going to give them that benefit of the doubt, but they need a calming influence. They need a veteran presence. I've talked about LeBron on this team more than once. But they need that type of guy, somebody who can step up and be a calming influence when things are crashing around them, which the Spurs could not do in 4 of these 5 games. Two of the biggest finals comebacks in this series, including the number 1 comeback of all time. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. I get excitable when I get the hiccups. Just tremendous. Listen, that 29-point game on Monday night, guys. Was it Monday? No, what night was that? Wednesday night. I was just like 29 points. I want to say 9 minutes left in the third quarter. I could be wrong a little bit. I don't give up on my teams. I saw no reason to think the Knicks were going to win that game. And they would chip away and chip away and chip away. And they missed some big chances during that time, right? They would get it to 17, then get the ball and a chance to cut it to 15, and no good. Back to 19, back to 20. And they had talked about at halftime that their goal was to get it to 17 by the fourth quarter, which I think they did. I think they were at 15 maybe at the fourth quarter start. But just tremendous. Again, they did it with good defense and the Spurs just playing boneheaded basketball. You can't just go down and throw up 3 after 3. 8 straight possessions, they throw up 3-pointers. And Fox, again, I guess you can make an argument if he makes that breakaway in game 4 that, that would be better than pulling it out. I can't. To me, it's all about the clock at that point. And you pull it up, you run a little bit more time, they foul you, and you're going to have a better shot at making the foul shots than making that basket. And Fox, listen, that was a bonehead play. He played pretty good in games 3 and 4, I want to say, other than that decision there. But last night, that looked like John Starks in 1994. Allen's on Rec Room Sports is his affiliation now. Good stuff. I think I guess I noticed that, Allen. So good for you. Glad things are going well. Miss you here. Glad you're with us. Can't call the Knickerbockers the Dallas Cowboys anymore every year. They're going to win. Can't call the Knickerbockers the Dallas Cowboys anymore every year. They're going to win the championship. I see. But now you're talking into your phone. I get where you're coming from. I don't think they ever reached that point because I didn't say, as a lifelong Knick fan, I didn't say every year we're going to win a championship. Now there was a bunch of years, obviously not in the 70s after that great Knick team broke up. Couple times in the 90s when we faced the Bulls, it seemed every year. It wasn't every year, but it felt like it. Those teams felt like they had a chance to win every year, but didn't. The 2000s, we had some years. But, Jesus, I can't tell you a year before this one that I thought this team really should win. Maybe last year, I guess I could say that. I did feel that way last year. So I didn't feel that way the last 53 years, I can tell you, every single year like Cowboy fans seem to. Sorry, Alan. They don't, again, it's part of its youth. Listen, Wemby played really good basketball. But all the talk about Wemby, and again, he's 22 years old. I want to give him the benefit of doubt. But there's a lot of holes in his game. There's a lot of holes in the Spurs game plan. The coach is young. The coach is inexperienced. The players are young and inexperienced. I mean, they seem to learn nothing from any one of those games that they blew big leads. They seem to learn nothing. Why would I think they're going to learn now? Now they might. I mean, reason says this team will get better because they're all young and Fox will be gone. They need a veteran presence in there, I think. But I don't know that Wemby isn't as good as he's ever going to be, which is really good, by the way. It's not bad. But offensively, and maybe it's just a game plan, or maybe it's him. I don't know. Why are they giving him the ball every time down the court so far away from the basket? I know he can shoot three-pointers, but he shouldn't be taking either taking a three-pointer or driving to the basket time after time. He's not a guard. And I know he can handle the ball, but there's times he doesn't, and it gets sloppy. And he has a dominating presence on defense. Changes game plans. You saw last night, bunch of big blocks. It's a long one, Danny. You're going to cover up my whole head. Point is where well taken teams back in the days would take their foot off the accelerator plate of the situation. No one possessions were more valuable than the first 32 minutes of the game, and you don't see that now. Not to take anything away from the Knickerbockers game, but game 4, but it was as much San Antonio meltdown and not knowing how to work the clock. But you just said it's teams don't know what mid-range. They don't. It's agreed. And the Knicks do shoot that mid-range, by the way, because Jalen Brunson from 15 feet is deadly. So Knicks do that. And I agree with you, Danny, about game 4 being as much San Antonio just going brain dead. But again, you have to be in a position to take advantage of other teams' misfortune, right? I mean, sometimes we don't give teams credit for that. We like to say somebody choked. I guess if I was going to use the word, this would be a good place to use it. But when a team is playing that badly, you still have to be in a position to take advantage of it. And you have to be, in my mind, you got to be a pretty damn good basketball team and be very mentally strong to be able to keep yourself in a position to take advantage of a team's miscues when you're 29 points down. Because it feels, and I felt as a fan, it felt insurmountable at 29 points. I mean, you look at the score, what was it, 79-42. That feels undoable. But they did it. And again, with help from the Spurs. But the Knicks had to capitalize. And you're right about the mid-range jumper. It's been lost in the NBA for a lot of years. But the Knicks do it more than a lot of teams. Cat will do it. You see Anunoby do it. And Brunson's got a deadly mid-range jump shot. He really does. And he just carried his team last night. I mean, let's face it. But he didn't win on his own. Without Anunoby, they don't win this series. He doesn't play great in the box score last night because he didn't shoot well. But he had a lot of big plays. He's tough on defense, and he played great the times he had to match up against Wemby. I said before the series that OG is maybe the most underrated player in the NBA because of his role with the Knicks. If he was on another team, he'd be a star. I mean, a big star. But that's not his role here. Knick fans, I was not among them, but we're killing Leon Rose for giving up all those draft picks for Mikal Bridges. But they're killing him because, I mean, Bridges is not a superstar. I get it. But they don't win this series without Bridges. 2 games, he kind of disappeared. But in 3 games, he was a huge part of their success. 3 wins. The loss, he was like invisible. But he does a lot of little things. Watch him. Watch him move without the ball. I think too many guys, again, they think nobody's moving without the ball. Guys are just standing around. And we saw some of that with the Knicks late again yesterday. And Brunson. But Brunson dominating the ball. But it worked out. But Bridges moves without the ball. I compared him to Bill Bradley more than once when we're looking, because he's Nick. Again, Walt Frazier, I think we can agree, knows something about basketball and great fundamental basketball and moving the basketball, finding the open man. When he's comparing this team to his teams, I think you got to lend some credence to that. And I like what Bridges does. I like what Bridges brings to this team. He's never going to average 20 and 10 because of his role on this team. OG is never going to average 20 and 10. He averaged 21 for this series, by the way. And played a tremendous game 4. The tip-in will be remembered forever. But he was good throughout that entire game. He was really good throughout this entire series. And the playoffs. He got hurt, and it took him a couple of games to get back in gear once he came back. But I take nothing away from Jalen Brunson. He's the heart and soul of this team. And has got an engine that won't quit. Because I'll tell you, I think the Knicks were better conditioned than the Spurs. How has Wemby got his hands on his knees in the first quarter every freaking game? And they got to take him out to rest him almost all the time in the middle of the first quarter. Anyway, Brunson is the heart and soul of his team. But there's somebody there to pick up the guy, Brunson specifically. He didn't play well the first 4 games of this series. He ended up scoring a bunch of points, but didn't shoot well, turned the ball over. And they beat the bejesus out of him. If you don't think he's tough, man, you're just not paying attention. Magic got 42. Well, I thought so, and I didn't understand. I was watching Ernie Johnson last night talk to Brunson before he gave him the MVP trophy, and I thought he said he's the only guy ever to score 40 points in a series clinching final. I didn't think so. I thought Magic was around 40-some that night. I don't know what he was talking about. So anyway, Brunson is tough, too. This whole Knick team is tough. This was a physical series. You want to see physical basketball? I'm okay with physical basketball, by the way. When I talk about Wemby and, his first trip to the national stage, and yes, he's been on national TV with Spurs games, but not this type of stage. I don't think he comes out of it smelling all that good. I think he's obnoxious. I think there's times he's borderline dirty player. And I really think it again. I'm glad the Knicks won in 5, by the way, because it shut up all the Knicks fans, by the way, who were talking about after up 2-0 and they're losing game 3 at home. Talking about the NBA is never going to let Wemby not win this. They're never going to let the Knicks win. Stop it. These games aren't fixed. These games aren't scripted. Just knock it off. Take your tinfoil hat off and put your big boy pants on. Don't be a crybaby Knicks fan, please. You give us all a bad name. Yes. The officiating in the series was atrocious on both sides, I think. Inconsistent calls on flagrant fouls. Flagrant fouls are supposed to be pretty, I want to say obvious. What constitutes a flagrant foul is supposed to be pretty clear. Well, I see it called one way one time and not another way another time. And I see guys get manhandled on both sides. There was some great defense and tough defense in this game, in this series. And I was happy to see it. But Wemby, he's a great defensive player. He's getting himself a reputation I don't think he really wants. And it's great to be confident, but don't go into game 5 going, we're still going to win. Everybody knows it. You know it, and you should believe it. I mean, Danny made a comment about on the Roundtable show this morning about not giving guys bulletin board material. I think it was in regards to John Tortorella saying he left his clothes in Carolina when the NHL resumes tonight with Game 6 and Vegas needing a win to get back to Carolina. But Wemby did a pretty good job of giving the Knicks bulletin board material, I think. And I don't think he gives the team credit. You can't go out there and blow double-digit leads every single game, 5 games in a row, and you only manage to win one of them, and tell me you're the better team. Now, maybe he'll be a little more contrite now that it's over. We'll see. CFL season started yesterday. League has made some minor tweaks to be more similar to the NFL. What did they do? Don't try to compete with the NFL. That's a great point. That's why the USFL died. If they stayed in the spring, they might have competed with the NFL. Nobody's competing with the NFL. And their season does go into the NFL season somewhat, I believe, right, Chris? But what tweaks did they make, by the way? I am kind of curious about that. Let me see if I can say this correctly. Since 2019, only the Warriors have played in 2 of the 8 championships. No other team has been in the championship more than once. Really? So no team. Am I still logged in here? Maybe not. So you're saying no team has gone to the finals more than once? I think Boston has. So in that logic, I'm going to say with the Boston Celtics and OKC Thunder playing in the finals next year. Listen, again, the NBA seems to, and the NHL, I think, too, seem to be, and I guess Major League Baseball. I got to be clear. I mean, is it Major League Baseball? I mean, we get 5 teams that make it every year. Maybe I'm wrong with that. But the NBA seems to have more parity and more chances to get to the finals than anybody. We haven't had dynasty since that Golden State team in the mid tens, right? 2010s. You did have the Spurs win 5 championships in 9 years. I don't think you're going to see that again. I mean, Jack's talked about the fact that the Spurs are going to get better and they're going to be in the championship the next, 5 years in a row and win 4 of them or 3 of them, whatever. I don't know that that's a given. I would think they're all going to get better. They got a lot of young guys. Obviously, Wemby's young. Castle, who played awful last night, by the way, 1 basket, I think, with under a minute left. Harper, that's the core of that team. All young kids. Theoretically, they're all going to get better. But that doesn't always happen. I mean, I'm sure all of us can list a dozen guys, who were great in their first year or 2 and just never progressed past that. And teams. So would it surprise me if the Celtics played the Thunder next year? No, it wouldn't. A lot of matchups wouldn't surprise me. I think it's going to be easier. I'll say this. I think it's going to be easier for the Knicks to get back to the finals next year than it will the Spurs. Because the Spurs have got to go through OKC. I know that's Allen's team. For the foreseeable future. Jack kind of walked it back, and I'm going to call him out tomorrow morning, if I remember. During these playoffs, he said that there would be no rivalry with OKC. And Danny, you had thought it was James, and maybe James alluded to it. I don't think he did. But it was Jack who was insistent that there be no rivalry if the Spurs beat OKC. First of all, that's wrong. I think it's a wrong narrative already. OKC's not going anywhere. OKC's pretty young as well. OKC's going to get guys back that were hurt, so they're going to be automatically better without making any moves. And I think they will be active in the offseason. But they're not going anywhere. Now, this morning when I brought it up, Danny brought it up, Jack seemed to say something different. I don't remember him saying this. He said if they didn't win the championship, then there would be a rivalry. That's not what I remember him saying. So I'll ask Jack in fairness to him. Jack, if you're there, you can feel free to comment. But I didn't get a chance to do it this morning. We're on too many different things. But tomorrow morning, I'm going to ask you about this. You saw Alan joined us, so the cowgirl remark was directed at him. Yeah, get your digs on Alan. We got to get digs on all the Cowboy fans. Hello, Michael, joining us from across the pond today. I'm so sad. I'm sorry to hear that your mom died. Lost my mom a few years ago as well, and it's always an adjustment for sure. I hope you're hanging in there, and I hope we can put a little smile on your face or piss you off today, one or the other, and take your mind off that. But our thoughts and prayers go out to you and your family, Michael, for sure. Never easy to lose your mom, you know. My dad's not doing too well either, so I get it. It's kind of hard right now, and so we're thinking about you. I'm glad you're here today. Did you get a chance to see any of the Knick game? And what's England's World Cup status? Here in the U.S., we're all excited about beating that soccer powerhouse Paraguay the other day. I don't want to be negative about the World Cup. I get into it. I root for my country. So while I won't let my granddaughter kick a ball, I make her pick it up and throw it to me. I'll be a soccer fan for the next month or however long this takes. It's going to take forever. They don't play till the 19th again. But what are England's chances in this World Cup? Oh, God, free throws. Well, first of all, Mitchell Robinson is worse than Shaq. I would have fouled him. And again, the Knicks did a good job. And that was the biggest problem when Cat fouled out, is that now Robinson's got to play the whole time. They managed not to get him to the foul line. I'm not sure how that happened. I'm pretty sure on that offense, he had that big offensive rebound on OG's missed free throw. And everybody shot horribly, by the way. The Spurs, another big reason they blew the 29-point lead. And the lead last night was they couldn't make or get back in the game last night, both. Was their inability to make free throws. Knicks kept the Spurs in it with missed free throws. Man, it's the easiest shot in basketball, isn't it? Got to make free throws. Hello, Billy, again. Does Danny's post go down in history books as the longest? I've had my face covered up before, so I'm thinking no, unless I might have changed my layout. Maybe why my face. I think I changed the font or something on the comment so that my face wouldn't get covered up on those long. Because everybody wants to see my face, right? Danny does. He's very good because he's speaking. You got to remember, he's not typing all that out. The best word to describe the Knickerbockers, and you've used it this morning on both shows, resilient. I agree 100%. Now, quick starters, no. Jalen Brunson said last night, and I don't know how many of you guys stayed up to watch any of the post-game stuff. Probably nobody. Maybe you West Coasters, I don't know. But he said during his interview with Ernie Johnson, I think after he got the MVP trophy, he was like, I don't know what it is. He says, the game started at 8:30. We don't show up till 9 o'clock. Michael, on a brighter note, my sports, yes, soccer world for sure. So I'm assuming I'll get some comments on England. And listen, Michael, bring us up to speed. You can talk about anything you want with World Cup. I'm happy to talk about it. I'm not well versed in the world of soccer or football, I guess, in your world, because I'm not a huge fan. As I said, I don't allow my granddaughter to kick a ball. It's got to be picked up and thrown to Papa. Yes, on a darker note, with a Major League Baseball lockout looming, and it is, in my mind, probably inevitable. It's considerably different from 1994. Minimum salary is now close to $1 million. Contract years are up to $24 million for 1 year. Not sure what that is. Owners are offering more than that. I mean, I'm not sure what that second sentence is, or third sentence is about there. Contract years are up to $24 million for 1 year. I mean, Scooble's playing like on a $36 or $7 million contract this year in arbitration. Owners are offering 50-50, and the players are disgusted. In 1994, the difference was around 75-25. By the way, I don't think the 50-50 is even going to be the tipping point. It's going to be the salary cap. The salary cap proposed was like $273 million. There's 6 teams over that already. I really don't want a cap. Which means I guess I can't want a floor. If I want a totally 100% open marketplace, you have the right as an owner to drive your team into the ground, I guess. At least wins and losses, because these teams that are losing every year are making money. They're going to have a hard time selling the $273 million cap. I'll tell you right now. There is no way in my mind there won't be a lockout in December. And please don't call it a strike. But this is billionaires billionaires against millionaires, but it's not even that. More than that. It's almost billionaires against billionaires in some cases. Is Danny trying to say, like Mark Mancini, you have a face for radio? I do. I'm trying to figure out that third person comment, Rick. I was trying to remember back to when I might have talked in the third person. Do I have a habit of lapsing into the third person sometimes? First had 13 turnovers. Turnovers were, again, horribly. The Knicks they turned the ball over a ton in the first half, first quarter especially. Same thing happened when they fell behind by 29 the other night. It's not hard to figure out, right? Maintain possession. And when you're not turning it over, you're throwing up horrible three-pointers. And you got Fox out there going 3 for 15. And no adjustments by the coach. Again, I'm going to tell you, I have to, when I'm wrong, I tell you I'm wrong. I land-basted James Dolan and Leon Rose for firing Tom Thibodeau. No holds barred. They won a championship. And that had nothing to do with Mike Brown. Nothing to do with Mike Brown. Tom Thibodeau got this team to another level every single year of his time with the Knicks. Mike Brown got him to the ultimate goal. So kudos to, doesn't change my opinion of Tom Thibodeau, but I can't say they were wrong in making this change. It's all about winning championships. Hello, Neil. Good to have you with us. Neil and I are going to get together next Friday, play a little golf down at, what's the name of the place we're going to play? Green. Apple Greens. Is that it? Looking forward to it, Neil. Mitchell Robinson gave the Knicks some valuable minutes and rebounds. 10 rebounds last night. Cat only played, 20 minutes or so, 23 minutes. He got 10 rebounds too, though. Cat, if you told me before Game 5 that Cat was going to score 2 points and we'd win, I'd say you were nuts. But Cat played good on defense and he did get in foul trouble. Got a bunch of rebounds. Mitchell Robinson played well, stayed away from the ball so he didn't get on the foul line. I feel like he had like 2 shots or something, didn't he? Why do I keep getting myself locked out here? What Robinson do? 2 shots last night. 0 for 2 from the foul line. He kept himself away from the foul line very well. I mean, that probably should have been their offense anytime he was in, or the defense on the Spurs. Just follow Robinson. Put him on the line. Because, again, once you're over, maybe I'm wrong. I'm missing something. Once you're over the in the bonus, if you follow Robinson away from the ball, he's still going to go to the line. Am I wrong? Now, I don't like that hack-a-shack type thing, but I mean, it would have been a strategy at least. It didn't feel like San Antonio had any strategy. And I got to give Mitch Johnson a little bit of a pass, I guess, because he is an inexperienced coach. He's growing. Hopefully he's growing just like the team. Because if he was a veteran coach and he blew, double-digit leads in 5 straight games and lost 4 of them, including a 29-point lead, I'm pretty sure he'd be looking for work tomorrow. And I don't think the San Antonio ownership is the type to be trigger happy like that. So I doubt it's going to happen, but we'll see. But Mitchell Robinson, I'm not the biggest Mitchell Robinson fan in the world, quite frankly, but he played well in spurts when the Knicks needed him in this series. He played tough defense on Wemby when he had a chance, and the Knicks did a great job of rotating Cat, Wemby, and OG on Wemby. Wemby was gonna get his points, but again, he didn't go off. He didn't have otherworldly numbers. I mean, he's a fine basketball player. Is he about to become one of the all-time greats? I haven't seen anything yet that tells me he will. Defensively, already one of the all-time greats in my mind. His offensive game has a long ways to go. Doesn't mean it won't. A bit difficult to see who the favorite teams are at present until today. I agree. I was trying to figure it out this morning. Hoping your team England can do it. By the way, I'm rewatching Mad Men. I don't know if you've seen Mad Men, Michael. I'm sure a bunch of you have. My wife had never seen it, so we're rewatching it. And I can't believe how much stuff I didn't remember or don't remember. We're in season 6 right now. But during the run of this show, England won a World Cup. 1965. I don't remember what year it was. But kind of cool. Another World Cup trophy for us for 60. Oh, you go 66. You wrote it right here. Sorry. 66 sounds right. Because there was a prominent character that was from England. And has a tragic storyline, but great show, by the way. Great show. Never mind Stella. Patrick Corbin has his groove back. He's under the tutelage of Pete Walker. Walker is a pitching coach for the Blue Jays who has survived 5 managerial changes. That's pretty impressive, by the way, including the head office. Patrick Corbin again has been the target of my mockery over the years, because I always tell people, when you have kids, young couples, when you have a young boy, teach him to be left-handed, because you can pitch in the major leagues forever and not be any good. Now, Corbin, his numbers, to be fair, Chris, are not great. 2-3 with a 4.55 ERA. But for Patrick Corbin, these numbers are terrific. But I will say, you youngsters out there or grandparents who have kids having kids, please teach your kids to throw left-handed because they can pitch in the major leagues forever. Now, Patrick Corbin had some good years in Arizona, by the way. He was a good pitcher at one time. But Patrick Corbin hasn't been really any good since about 2019. Last good year he had. Serviceable right now. No World Cup trying for 60 years for us, I meant to say. I get it. It's funny, you put the 1966 there, and I'm trying to remember the year that Mad Men was in when they actually won. It was a part of the storyline. Oops. Just kicked the cat again. Sorry. It was a part of the storyline when Lane Price was trying to woo the head of Jaguar to come to the agency, and they were watching the World Cup, and England won. Just to fill in some blanks. Wemby needs to mature. A solid veteran guard will put San Antonio over the top. I agree, and I know you're not going to agree with this, Neil, because I believe I know what side of the fence you're on with LeBron, but LeBron's not done. LeBron could still play in this league, and a guy like LeBron coming to that team, not needing to be the man, because, again, before you tell me LeBron won't defer, LeBron deferred to Luka and to Reeves the entire second half of this season and did it very well. He was a third option and was happy doing it. And the Lakers played really well. He had to step it up in the playoffs and become the man again because there was nobody else. And I think bringing a LeBron or somebody like LeBron, again, it doesn't have to be LeBron. They need a steadily, to your point, and I said this on the round table this morning, I said it earlier in the show, they need a solid veteran. And a guard would probably be the best place to be because their guards are all young. They all play great defense, by the way. Tough, hard-nosed defense. Thought I was watching Knicks and Bulls in the 90s, some of these games. But I just think LeBron's a great fit there. And I know a lot of you guys aren't going to agree with me because it's just what it is. I did mention Aldon Smith. Yes, a very sad story, He was really he had great talent, man. He was an all-pro one year, led the 49ers in sacks. I don't know if he led the league. I think it's 49ers. But off the field problems too often, not just in sports, but everywhere. We see them in sports, obviously, because they're visible celebrities, same thing. But there's a lot of people in this country suffering with the same type of issues that Aldon Smith did and many others. And we hope they find their way out of that dark tunnel. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and friends for sure. In that Game 6, Magic had 42, 15, and 7. I'd forgotten Worthy was 30. Wow. Worthy was as good as Magic, basically. Yeah, I don't know how Ernie Johnson missed that last night, and I didn't. Obviously, I wasn't there to call him out on it. That's why you got to fact check people, I have to fact check myself. I make a lot of bold comments, but I always ask you guys to fact check me. Because I don't have, I'm not. I got stuff in my brain, but pulling it out sometimes is very difficult. Does Wemby need more help? Yes, I think so. Again, look, Castle's going to get better. Harper's going to get better. We would think. Again, logic says they will get better. How good, though? I think Harper is going to be better than Castle. Castle's a great defender. But I think they need. I do think they need a couple of pieces, and I think a veteran, as Neil said before. I think a veteran guard would probably be great. But I think a LeBron would be great, and he could play. He can play guard. He can play forward. He can play anywhere. And he doesn't need to play. He can play 25 minutes a game. Doesn't need to start. But they do need more consistency, right? Again, youth showed here. Knicks were a more experienced team. I think the Knicks were a better conditioned team. Because I'll tell you what, Wemby being gassed sometimes in the first quarter, I don't get it. I know there's a fast pace in a lot of these games, and he's just a big guy. But hello, Paul Spada. How are you? Good to have you with us. Dean agrees on the easier road to the finals if the team stays with the same personnel. It's the West is going to be tougher than the East, at least right now as we speak today. And a lot of stuff can change in a draft and free agency. But it would appear for the next year or so, maybe a little more, the West would be a tougher road to get to the finals. The Spurs and Thunder are definitely going to be the top two dogs there, and they're going to the playoffs. Or the Western Conference Championship is going to go through one of them, I would think, for the foreseeable future. But we don't know what the Lakers are going to do. I mean, I think Giannis is going to end up in the West. He's going to end up in L.A. He could end up in Oklahoma City. He could end up in Dallas. I'd watch out for Dallas. But it feels like the Lakers. I don't know why. I do think Oklahoma City would benefit from having Giannis on that team as well. But they may not make wholesale changes there, man. They won 60. What did they win, Alan? 65 games? Where's the... Where are they? 64 games? I mean, jeez. 18 losses all year. They weren't in full strength in the playoffs. Not an excuse, just a fact. There's no reason to think they won't get better. And a fairly young team. There's no reason to think they're not going to get better as well as the Spurs are going to get better, right? Nick's winning gives Alan more hope for the Cowboys. I get that. Could the Raptors be a more formidable opponent if they pulled a Kawhi Leonard type stunt again? 1-year deal to an elite power forward. I don't know what the Raptors. I don't know if the Raptors are that close though. Remember OG was on that team. He didn't play in the playoffs or the finals anyway because of an appendectomy. So this is really OG's second title. But I don't know if the Raptors are that close right now, Alan or Chris. But, we saw what Kawhi did with that team before. I just don't know if there's that type of player available either. Maybe they're closer than I think. NHL Finals coming to a boil. Chance of Game 7. I think there's a good chance of a Game 7. Again, John Tortorella said after the game that he was leaving his clothes in Carolina because he expected to be back. They'll be without William Karlsson tonight, which is not good news for Vegas. Rod Brendamore has done a great job, I think, managing personnel on this Canes team, especially benching Anderson for Bussy in Game 3, and then he didn't even dress Anderson in game 4. He said he was resting him, which makes no sense. Now, they have rotated goalies, and there's a lot of goalie rotation that goes on in the NHL today, but I thought it was a bold move pulling. I mean, he'd given up 4 goals, but I think maybe not pulling him wasn't a bold move, but staying with him in game 4 and 5, I think was interesting. And I see no reason right now for them to switch back. But I think Vegas finds a way to win this game tonight. John Tortorella's done a great job there. John Tortorella, a very polarizing figure in the NHL, and I've said this several times, Michael, and I know you haven't been around, but I think it'd be very John Tortorella-like to come in there with 8 games left in the regular season, guide them through the playoffs, win a Stanley Cup, and then get fired in the offseason because of something. Yeah, did he? When did he say that? I'm not sure. Because I had this argument with Jack like over several shows that he kept saying it wouldn't be a rivalry if San Antonio won. Oh, he did say if San Antonio didn't win. I thought he said, though, and I could be wrong, so I'll let Jack correct me, and maybe I won't. Maybe I'll take it easy on him now. So you're saying that he said if they didn't win the NBA championship, it would still be a rivalry? I thought he said if they beat Oklahoma City, if they didn't beat Oklahoma City, then it would still be a rivalry. I guess I'm wrong. You guys listen to the show closer than I do. I'm just here babbling. Michael watched the NBA games but missed the last. Oh, for the Knicks title win for obvious reasons. Yes, I get it. I get that. Are you an NBA fan, Michael? Do you have a team? I know we were trying to make you a Yankee fan. $43 or $53. Don't cheat me out of 2 years here, Paul. 53. 1973 was the last championship team for the Knicks. Well deserved. Not sure what that's for. The CFL, the plan is to move the goalpost back. It's for 2027, so there's still time to petition. Boo, hiss, bring. See, now Chris sounds like the Canadian version of me. Leave my game alone. Speaking of baseball, I love it. And listen, the White Sox are playing really good baseball, Alan. And I had, when Jack and I did our preseason predictions, I thought the White Sox would be better. I think I had them around 500. I didn't have them competing for the division championship, and it's early yet. But I did have them finishing, well, I had them finishing third. Oh, so the Royals finishing second. So before I go patting myself on the back, I guess I should remember that. But the White Sox are playing good baseball, and they got basically a total rebuild on this team. And they're playing really good baseball. I think they fell out of first place. I think the Indians got back into first place. They did by half a game. But they're 37-32, 5 games over 500. Remember, 2 years ago, this team set a record for losses. Don't get off, Alan, do not get off your Texas Ranger wagon, though. The Rangers are like the most confounding team, one of the most confounding teams in baseball. They're up and down, and they have been since they won the World Series. No consistency, up and down. And again, really poor approach at the plate for me with this team. I've said this about the Rangers for a long time. They don't get on base enough. Very poor on base percentage. Because the World Cup is in a warm climate in Mexico and Western U.S. and the Eastern U.S. too, by the way. I'm not sure about Canadian temps. Are they playing in Toronto? Is Toronto one of the sites? Probably playing inside of anyway. The so-called South American teams like Brazil and Argentina are faves. Others include France. I didn't see the USA in there. We did run roughshod over Paraguay. They get Australia. Why so many games? Why so many days in between games? They played on, when did they play? Friday night or Thursday night? Friday. I don't remember. I think Friday night they played. They don't play again until the 19th. It's a week. Why is there a week between games? Maybe that's normal. What the hell? That's great. Douchebag. You get blocked. Ban user. Bye-bye. Douchebag. Guys, my apologies for putting that up without proofreading it first. I couldn't make out what it said in the before I put it up. Dumbass. It just ruins the whole freaking mood of the day. Jerk. I'd rather you said my head looked like a giant penis like the one guy did. I didn't even block him. Or maybe I did. Once he said it like 6 times. England have a chance, but are not in the top 3 or 4 favorites. We have a new manager, too, and I think we are tipped for the quarters. Beyond that, he doesn't know. To the last 8. That'd be good for the U.S. That'd be like a victory. You know, the U.S. team's put together very interesting, too. There's guys from the U.S. There's guys from Europe, a couple guys from England, which is Europe, I know. South America, Central America. The coach, I think, is from Argentina. So the U.S. is kind of all in, you know, not relying on local talent, if you will. And again, the World Cup has, I think, kind of lenient rules, pretty much the same rules that they use for the baseball World Cup, right? As long as you've got some kind of ties to a country, like your grandmother, you know, met your grandfather in Italy, you can go play soccer or baseball for Italy in the World Cup. Greek freak to the Celts. I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't want to give up the player it's going to take to get him. If the Knicks had gone out, Jack's right about one thing. If the Knicks had gone out in the first round against Atlanta, maybe even the second round, they probably have been all in on Giannis. No reason to be now. I don't think the Celtics really need to. I mean, the Celtics need to do something different as far as an approach to the game. They've got a lot of good players. And maybe having a Giannis would force them into playing the game differently. I mean, you can't just be hoisting up 3-pointers and hope they all go in. That can't be your offensive strategy, and that's what the Celtics have been. So maybe getting Giannis would be a good move for them. When I get out of bed in the morning, bones are making noises like snap, crackle, pop. I ask myself, how can I be like Stanton and get paid for this? Listen, I welcome those noises, Chris, because I realize I'm still alive when I'm getting out of bed. But you're right. I mean, Stanton has made a living on the disabled list since he came to New York. Michael says it's the Queen's tennis final in West London today. That means Wimbledon. Wimbledon starts, well, the end of the month, right? Or yeah, probably the end of the month. Another week or 10 days. Paul Spada had I seen Dream Boy as well as Greek Freak and no Greek Freak. I'm sorry, Danny. Hold on. I see Dreamer Boy. Who's Dreamer Boy? as well as No Greek and Freak in Boston. Who's Dreamer Boy? And guys, we're about 20 minutes behind, so I'll get to your comments, I promise. Magic 42 in 1980. Worthy wasn't there till 82. Lakers also beat. That's a good call. My bad for not picking up on that, Matt. Worthy. That's a great point. That must have been a different. They beat the Phillies in 82 as well. Did you say the Cowboys? We do have some Cowboy fans out there. Wemby's is as good as he's going to get until he puts on some strength. I agree, and definitely conditioning plan. I don't understand how that guy gets winded as quickly as he does. What am I reading right now? I'm actually reading 88 and 1. No, I read that's not. I finished that book. I'm reading a book called I Am Pilgrim, which is kind of a thrill. It's like, I can't think of the author's name. It's James Patterson. That's the main book I'm reading right now, and I'm rereading a baseball book called Seasons in Hell. It's about the 73-74 Texas Rangers. Allen, Whitey Herzog, and then Billy Martin coming in there and challenging the A's for the Western Division Championship in 1974. So that's kind of the side book I'm reading right now. I usually am reading like a biography at the same time, and I don't have anything I'm reading right now. Got a couple Watergate books. I've read every book you can think of on Watergate. I found 2 new ones that I downloaded on my Kindle, which I'll get into soon too. I don't know what we're going to have today. We're going to cook out today. We got some storms coming later. In fact, it looks like rain almost now. Probably going to have to get up and close up the patio. I don't know. But today might be a quiet day. We went out for a bite to eat and a couple of pops yesterday. Outside of this nice kind of rustic place we go to. Really kind of cool. Tomorrow, I got a busy week ahead of me. I don't know how I found time to work. How did I find time to work? Seriously, how did I find time to work? I mean, this week I play golf Monday and Wednesday with my regular group up here at Eagle Crest. Tuesday, I've got my monthly therapeutic massage, and we were taking my granddaughter, who's out of school now, to she's 3.5, and we're going to take her to Dinosaur Museum at the Capitol, down at the Capitol, near the Capitol building, the plaza. Then take her to get something to eat. Wednesday, back golf again. Thursday, I think I'm free. Then Friday, I'm going to drive an hour and a half to play golf with Neil. Saturday, my brother's coming in from Virginia to stay with us through the weekend for Father's Day. We'll have my dad over for a cookout next Friday. We may not have a show next Sunday morning because I might do it Saturday. Maybe we'll have a Saturday stream of consciousness. I don't know. Because my brother's coming in. I don't want to, leave my wife with my brother and my sister-in-law for 3 hours and disappear. So I don't know what we're going to do there. We'll see. Maybe I'll do it Saturday. I don't know. Go Carolina. A hurricane is touching down in Vegas. Oh, sorry, Tam Ram, you've been banned. So looks like I could see your further comments. I wonder what those were. Jerk. Always had a soft spot in the NBA for the 76ers. AI, not artificial intelligence, but Allen Iverson was one of his all-time favorite players. Practice. We're talking about practice. There's more games in this World Cup, Keith, because they've allowed more qualified teams this time compared to past tournaments. Well, that makes sense. Looks like we're catching up in our comments pretty quickly. So that's why there's a week between games. That's good to know. Thank you. Hello, Donna. Good to have you with us. Hope you're doing well. Haven't seen you in a little while. Good to have you with us. I think you popped in to say hello a couple of times, but it's always good to see you, Donna. Hope you're doing well down there in Pennsylvania. And good morning to Danny from Donna. Never asked when you... Oh, no, we haven't been here yet. We're going the week after next. We go up. We're going to stay at Ticonderoga. Well, we're staying at Schroon Lake, but it's like 15 minutes from Ticonderoga. We're going to go to the old Revolutionary War fort, which I haven't been to since I was a kid, and we'll go to the Star Trek experience. So it's up there. And Matt's alluding to, for those who haven't heard me tell this story, there's a guy up there who bought up all the old sets and rebuilt them in Ticonderoga for the original series, the bridge, sick bay, the transporter room, other things are there. And Shatner's going to be there the Thursday. We're going Tuesday, Wednesday, and coming home Thursday. I don't know when we're going to do the Star Trek experience, but Shatner's there on Thursday and I think Friday, but he's sold out already. The place is all sold out. So maybe Wednesday night I'll run into him in town somewhere. By the way, 92 or 93 years old. That guy is amazing. So no Shatner, and probably unlikely to see Shatner, but we're going to go on the 2 weeks from Tuesday, or a week from Tuesday, we're going up. We'll spend a few days up that way. AC, how are you, my friend? Here's a hello for Donna. The drink I had yesterday, my wife doesn't drink. She had iced tea. Mine is something called a patio punch at Peddler's Bistro. It's about 4 different kinds of rum. It was really good. It's pretty strong. I had 2 of those, and that's enough. Well, we had a nice meal. It was a beautiful day to sit outside and just chat and have some fun. So we had a great afternoon. Chris going to have a little candor on the way out as we continue to abhor AI. Are we talking about Allen Iverson or artificial intelligence? I think I know what you mean. I went to the cookie jar anyway and asked, should the Raptors sign LeBron James? Replied, no. Raptors should not sign LeBron James. I have a running feud with my AI in the house. And by the way, when they do take over, you won't see me on this show anymore because I'll be dead. I'll be one of the first ones they come for. I am not nice to Alexa. It is pretty cool. I can't wait to go. It's going to be pretty fun. I haven't been there. It's been there up there. It's been up there probably, I don't know, 10 or maybe 12 or 15 years they've been up there. And he continues to add more stuff to it. And Shatner's up there like 2 times a year. So it's pretty cool. To use your words, pretty cool. AC says, not a fan of soccer, but seeing all the foreigners here for the World Cup making internet videos about how great America is and how much I love America is awesome. And I will be watching Team USA win it all. I don't know about that, but we can root for it, AC. It's a great country. My wife would be as well. My wife has 2 sips of wine and we're getting a little goofy. Nothing better than U.S. history. What's that? UM. I'm looking forward to the fort, actually. The Revolution. Where I live, Matt, you go through the whole Mohawk Valley, and there's a ton of history from the Revolutionary War. And you go north, there's still old forts in Fort Edward and Warrensburg and Ticonderoga, Fort Anne. These are all very important military forts during the Revolutionary War. And if you watch the movie or read the book, actually, Last of the Mohegans, James Fenimore Cooper, great book. Read it. It's probably mandatory reading for us in high school. They made it into a movie. Daniel Day-Lewis was the star. That all took place, in a 40-mile radius of where I live and have lived my whole life. So, kind of cool. Why do we need LeBron to retire? Just because? I mean, he's still a really good player. Still a really good player. He can contribute a lot to a team where he doesn't have to be the main guy. 42 years old he is, or will be. Still playing at a high level. I mean, he's not, one of the top 10 players in the league, but he's still top 20. We don't like him as a person. You have to respect what he does at a court. You agree with AC on the World Cup and the kudos that America's getting from people who are not normally here? I love the Revolutionary War, Civil War. I'm a buff, and I love those, especially where I grew up because we're so close to that history. It's amazing. Fort William Henry and Lake George. Thank you, Rick. Again, all through here. Hell, in Fort Johnson, outside of New York, you had Fort Henry Johnson, or not Henry Johnson, is it? But you know what I'm talking about. I mean, that fort's you can't go there and tour it or anything. But when I was a kid, I don't know if it's still there. There was still one wall there, and there was a cannon that was sticking out of that wall still. Now, you go up to Ticonderoga and Fort William Henry, and a lot of those forts are at least partially as they were 250 years ago. I'm sure it's very busy up there this year, too. I'm guessing with the 50th anniversary or birthday of the country, if you want to say. And happy birthday to the U.S. Army, by the way. 251 years old, I think, today or yesterday, one or the other. Very interesting, though. Oh, I'm sure in Philly it's going to be amazing. You have the All-Star game. You got the celebrations for the 250th birthday of this country. It's going to be a lot of fun. Areas of store. You're right. You're right. There's a lot of stuff that's going on here throughout the Mohawk Valley. I can't remember there's a huge, I can't remember what they called it, a huge Indian massacre in the Stockade and Schenectady. And all through that Mohawk Valley, up through the Shrine and, through Fort Plain. Just tremendous amounts of history here, for sure. LeBron to Boston. There's one guy that wants him. Finally, a guy that wants LeBron. Look, if he'd come here to New York and play for the minimum, I'd put him on the bench. Imagine this team with LeBron as a sixth man. Tremendous. Not going to happen. Just taking a look at where some of the peeps are. Good showing on X today again. Thank you, guys. My TGI Sports Talk page. Nobody from the McGrath Podcast Network today, mostly on my pages, both on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. Good to have you guys with us. Thank you. Pat the Rat. Why don't we like Pat Riley? Well, I probably know. I guess it was probably his emailed resignation, right? I don't know. I'm a big Pat Riley fan. Probably because where I grew up and he grew up, right? Again, he's a big hero here in our area. Took Knicks to everything but a championship. The only thing I hold against, I don't even hold it against him leaving, quite frankly. I wasn't happy at the time, but I've kind of gotten over it. But the thing I really have a problem with Pat Riley is leaving John Starks in to shoot 3 for 19 in Game 6 against Houston. I don't see Miami as a place for LeBron. LeBron's either going to be a Laker, he's going to be a Cavalier, he's going to be a Spur. Where else could I see him? At one point, I would have said Golden State, but I think they're just too old and probably not going to win. I really kind of think the perfect full circle moment for LeBron would be go back to Cleveland and lead them to a championship or help them to a championship. Because, again, I don't think a 42-plus-year-old LeBron is going to lead anybody. I think he'll be a big contributing factor to a team that needs something to get over the top. That's why I think San Antonio is a perfect place for him. Just don't think it'll happen. That was Matt's team in the 80s and 90s, Lakers with Riley. Then 2001, you were a Utah fan? Andre Kirilenko. You know, Utah had some really good teams. They kept running to the Bulls, right? Those teams in the 90s, or 2000s, right? When they played the Bulls, early 2000s, that was Utah, right? Malone and Stockton and the like. I want to say that was, or maybe not. Maybe that was late 90s or 2000. I think it was late 90s. They played Utah 2 years in a row. LeBron would actually fit on the Boston team. I think he probably would. I don't see it happening. A lot of this is going to depend on what LeBron's asking for money-wise. Whether he stays with the Lakers is going to depend on money. Which team he plays with is going to depend on the money. If he wants money, if he just wants money, he may not find his way to a contender. And I don't know that he wants to go play for just the sake of playing. For what? He's already done everything he can do. So if you're not going to win another championship, what's the point of playing anymore? He doesn't need the money. So he's not going to go play for a loser. Although a team on the rise, Dallas would be a great spot for LeBron too. How about Dallas found a way to bring in LeBron and Giannis this year to go with Cooper Flag and maybe a healthy Kyrie Irving? If they could find a way to make that happen, they might be a contender immediately in the West. Yeah, I want to say late, Matt, but I could be wrong. I agree. I think point guard. And he could play. Again, 20, 25 minutes a game is probably all I would want out of LeBron probably at this point. Because you can get maximum effort for 20 minutes a night out of LeBron. You're not going to get it for 40 or 38. I mean, he's going to be 42 years old. '92, '98, Malone, Stockton and company. There you go. Jerry Sloan, great coach, underrated. Those teams are underrated because they ran into the Bulls every year. Well, 2 years in a row. Plus, they had a lot of competition out west. Good teams. What else, guys, haven't we talked about today that we should get into? Again, kudos to a couple of Major League Baseball managers letting their star pitchers pitch complete games here this weekend. Yamamoto goes into the 8th with a perfect game, and the 9th with a no-hitter. Gets pulled after getting a leadoff home run in the 9th inning. Mizorowski with a one-hitter, 15 strikeouts, and he threw one pitch 104 miles an hour. God bless him. Don't get hurt, man. Big injuries in Atlanta to Strider and shockingly Acuna, who's really becoming injury prone. Yankees trying to overcome more injuries with Grisham now out for at least a couple of weeks, probably with a hamstring issue. They activated Dominguez yesterday, so they're going to be counting on Dominguez and Spencer Jones a lot here the next couple of weeks. Actually, probably a lot the next couple of months. Football. Stephon Diggs cleared by the NFL. Their investigation into his off-field issues done. He was already had a court case dismissed. Where's Stephon Diggs going to end up? Kansas City feels like, it just came up this morning on the Roundtable show, Kansas City feels like a perfect fit for him. He'll give you a really good year this year. I think age-wise and attitude-wise, look, he was a perfect soldier in the locker room for the Patriots last year. He pretty much was a really good player for most of the regular season and was a good weapon and a good helped in the growth of Drake May a lot. So he'll go somewhere and he won't cause any problems for at least a year. I think Kansas City. I'm going to predict Kansas City. I think the Giants would be somebody that should be interested as well. There's a bunch of teams that don't have big wide receiver rooms that could probably use him. Patriots won't be one of them. Speaking of Patriots, though, A.J. Brown had an interesting thing he said this week about Drake May. Let's see if I can find it. Do I have that up? Yeah, he said, the talent speaks for itself. He can make any throw. Here's the interesting part. But I think what's more impressive to me is that he knows what he's doing. A little shade on Jalen Hurts? Maybe. To be that young and understand defenses and to understand every little check, the hots, the blitzes, all those things, so young, so fast. Come on, stop bouncing around me. It's very impressive. I really admire that. He knows what he's talking about. He demands everybody else knows as well. He's a true leader of men. It's crazy to see at such a young age. I think it's some shade on Jalen Hurts, by the way. Did he say anything else in here? Interesting, though. I find it interesting, right? College baseball, they must-see game, Carolina versus Georgia. Carolina's playing great. Georgia, there's been some really good games in this college baseball. Thanks for bringing that up, Danny. I wanted to look at the bracket here and see what's what. Get back to your comments here in just a second. Let me look at this bracket. We're looking at what are we looking at here? So in the College Baseball World Series right now, UNC no losses, West Virginia no losses, Ole Miss 1 loss, Troy 1 loss in the upper bracket, Georgia no losses, Texas 1 loss, Alabama 1 loss, Oklahoma no losses. What are we going to get today? Let's see what we got going on today. Yesterday we had Georgia beating Texas 7-1. Today you get Troy and Ole Miss. Troy had a great game the other day too against West Virginia. It was a really well played game. I thought there was 2 good games Friday. And today you're going to get who did I say? Today you're going to get Troy and Ole Miss and West Virginia and North Carolina. So some of these undefeated teams will be going away. Troy and Ole Miss is an elimination game. West Virginia, UNC is not an elimination game. So, Danny, you think it's going to be North Carolina versus Georgia? They can't play, I don't think, until the final. U.S. Open starts Thursday in New York. Cam Young from Sleepy Hollow has a good shot to win. Cam Young's been a pretty good player for a while, Neil. He had a pretty good following during the Ryder Cup this year too at Bethpage. Where is the Open? Is it in Shinnecock? Are they in Shinnecock this year? Yeah, Shinnecock. I got to tell you, I went to Shinnecock when they played in the 80s, Neil. 80. Raymond Floyd won. And I have to tell you, we were there for 4 days. And Thursday and Friday, and it's always seems to be, it's not this year, but almost every year it's on Father's Day weekend. So I missed Father's Day because I was there. I think it was, I feel like it was 86. I could be wrong. But Thursday and Friday, we were dressed in like ski hats and parkas. It was colder than I've ever been in June in my life. Wind blowing. And then Saturday it got warm. And then Sunday was like 95 degrees. Just craziest weather. I think you were in England. But Raymond Floyd won. You probably remember the year better than I do, being down that way closer than I am. But I know Ray Floyd won that year. Been to a lot of U.S. Opens. When I was younger, we went to everything that was in the East. Brookline, Shinnecock, Oak Hill, a few other places as well. Oh, what's happened here? Jack Sinner. That's a long shot. Steph thinks that Jacksonville AC thinks. That's makes sense, actually. Could see him going to Philly. I'm not sure. I think they're willing to run with Lemon. And I think now I just had his name. It skipped me. Who's their other receiver there? God, isn't that awful? Love the kid from Alabama. Totally blanking on it right now. I think he steps up now, and I think he's going to be you're going to see him take a next level jump. I just can't think of his name. I remember that Corey Pavin one too, beat Greg Norman there in 95. I remember that 5-wood too. That was a great. They've had a couple of great opens at Shinnecock for sure. Good stuff. We don't talk enough golf on this show. What else we got going on here? Todd Bowles backs Baker Mayfield as his long-term quarterback, as Baker's going to be looking for a new deal. He's looking for a new deal now. He's on an expiring contract this year. The Bucs get this done, and what are they going to pay him? He's making about $33 million, which is not a lot for a starting quarterback in the NFL these days, unless you're Jacoby Brissett. But Baker Mayfield isn't jumping into the $50 million league, is he? Just don't see it. But if he demands it, he could be moving on. He's going to get, I mean, he's going to be in the 40. I guess he'll be in the 40 to $50 million range, right? He's proved he can play in his league. How bad is Cleveland's moves now? Look, jumping ship on Baker Mayfield after he hurt his shoulder, after he'd taken him a fumble away from getting to the AFC Championship game. If they kept Baker Mayfield and never signed Deshaun Watson, Kevin Stefanski might still be the coach, and they may have become one of the better teams in the AFC. Now, Baker had to overcome some issues to get back to being a really good NFL quarterback. But it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Not top 5 for sure. Cleveland's. I mean, that's how bad this ownership has been. They bring in a guy who's, 60-some women accuse you of serious misconduct. Something probably happened somewhere. You say 2 or 3 women do it, I say, well, 60? No. Rom. I like Cam Young's chances. Rom's going to play well. Trying to think who I like in this tournament. I don't know. We'll get it. Who do I like? Not sure who I like in this tournament. It was very interesting watching a qualifying the other day, by the way, or maybe it was last week. Tony Finau, there's a lot of big names, big-ish names, that needed to go qualify for this tournament and did not. I think they call it the longest day in golf. They got to play 36 holes in that qualifier the last day, and there's some really interesting stuff that happened for some of the guys that were trying to get qualified. Good baseball in the World Cup. Hello, Can. Good to have you with us. Can from Bottom Line Sports. Check out their podcast whenever it airs. I try to share it when I'm paying attention to Flo messaging me. Flo and Can do some pretty good stuff. Great game. Congrats to the Knicks. Thank you. When they win their next championship in 53 years, I'll be 119 years old. I better take care of myself. Mickelson got booted from his country club with some sexual harassment allegations. I guess have been floating around for some time. What's happened to Phil? Phil's one of my all-time favorite golfers. I mean, I just loved watching Phil play because it was balls to the walls all the time. But ever since he took off for LIV, he's become a pariah, and he hasn't helped his own cause. We have these allegations. And I don't know whether it's true. I have no idea. Who knows? He knows and she knows, probably. Often when it's one person, I kind of have to raise an eyebrow and say, I don't know. If it is true, shame on you. But what's happened to him? I mean, he had it all. This whole LIV thing was no good for anybody. Lined a bunch of people's pockets, players' pockets, mainly, with blood money. But it's really hurt. and some of those guys have gotten back. Brooks Koepka's back. But again, I think it's hurt their standing here among other players, obviously, and among fans. Because I think most fans are like me, and they don't want to say, oh, I'm going to go here because they're going to pay me just for showing up with blood money. Anyway. Take a clip of this. Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, all these guys who went to live did their best to try to ruin the game of golf by taking blood money, lining their own pockets, and not giving two craps about the game and the fans. I guess we shouldn't be surprised at that, though. I don't, Matt. I had some, and they've in situations throughout my life, I guess they've disappeared. Because I had thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of cards when I was younger. I wish I had them now. Just like I wish I had all those sporting news that I threw away after reading them. I wish I kept them all. I had so much fun when I read all those baseball digests. I'm going to have fun now when I'm bored watching something, just chilling out. I'm going to go back and read a sporting news from 1974 or 2 or 7. I lead a great life, don't I? It's boring, but I love it. I would trade my life for anybody's. Gotta love life. What is the big World Cup match today, by the way? Does anybody know? Let's take a look. What are the World Cup matchups today? Germany and Curacao, or Curacao. I do that a lot. Germany and Curacao. Netherlands and Japan, Ivory Coast and Ecuador, Sweden and Tunisia, Australia and Turkey? The hell's that? Australia's up 2-0, by the way. There are a lot of teams or countries I don't remember ever being in this World Cup. You're right, Michael. Matt's favorites are the 70s. I love the 70s baseball cards. They're the best. They're the best. I think we talked about Topps was always the one that I would buy. I think we talked about the different companies, right? Thank you, Danny. I appreciate you guys more than you know. Can't do this show without you guys because we're just here shooting. It's like we're hanging out at a coffee shop or a bar without the booze and just shooting the crap. 4 World Cup games. Actually, 5 games. There's one going on right now. I think I'll be in Curacao in next February again, so maybe I'll root for Curacao over Germany. I'm going to have a hard time watching that game if the Yankees are on. What time do the Yankees play today? Yankees got to be 1 o'clock start, 1:35 against Toronto. Patrick Corbin pitching today, Chris. Look at that. I'll probably eat my words tomorrow morning. Had a lot of fun today, guys. A lot of fun. We'll wrap it up, though, today. As I can see us winding down. Awesome show today. Let's go, Knicks. I wonder if I'll get invited to the parade. I doubt it. Let's not wait 53 years for another one, James Dolan. Kudos to Mike Brown. I was very hard on Dolan and Leon Rose, and you have my apologies. I was wrong. I still think it was a mistake, but we won a championship. What am I going to – how do I have an argument against that? So thank you, guys. Have a great day. Keith Engle for TGI Sports Talks. Sunday, Stream of Consciousness. Have a great, great day, guys. If I can play some sound, I'll play it. Bye-bye.